Go.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Off the Script podcast. Today we are joined by three average guests. Please introduce yourself, everybody.
Who's first?
Well,
I guess it's you.
Okay. All right. Thanks for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm AJ. I'm 24. I coach online for a living. It's pretty much what I do day to day through Team MBM coaching. I also run a members site as well. And I've been doing that since 2014. And I've also been competing since 2014 as well in drug-free bodybuilding in the BNBF, UKDFBA, and MPA. My most recent competitive season myself was 2017, in which I won a junior title and a world title as a junior. So the next step for me will be to compete in the men's open categories, again in drug-free federations, because that's my primary goal and also is where my niche is in terms of clientele. So I work primarily with drug-free athletes. That's pretty much me.
Awesome. Who's next?
You going, Chris, or?
Jack, you go.
You're both so coy.
Okay, so
the best of last now.
Jack Thorburn, natural bodybuilder. I hate starting off with that, but
It's a bit of a before that. Was there some self-doubt there, Jack?
I don't know what might have been slipped in my food when I was younger, but yeah. So similar to AJ, my last competitive year was 2017. I've only done 2 years of competing, 16 and 17. Done relatively well within those 2 years. Won a few shows, won a couple of overalls, yet to win a British title. So that's sort of the next goal for me. Next year in 2021 is when I'm next going to be prepping. Job-wise, I do a bit of online coaching, but it's primarily like a side business, really. I do that more just through enjoyment. The rest of the time, I'm training to become a teacher and become fully qualified now in July time. So currently job hunting. But yeah, apart from that, that's about it. So thank you for having me on.
Awesome. Christian?
Yeah, so as he's just said, Christian Chapman.
Natural bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Drug-free.
Yeah, all the drugs. Coached by Christian on Instagram, if you don't already follow. Occupation-wise, I'm not really allowed to talk about it at the moment, but I've online coached for 3 years. And coming up, well, this will be the 4th year now, and it's been a bit of a fast-forward leap this year, let's say, to really putting myself out there. But yeah, that's it really. I go against the trend and don't compete, or haven't competed ever. But one day, potentially, once I feel like I am actually big enough.
Will that ever happen, though? That's the question.
Yeah.
Probably not. And to be honest, if it doesn't ever happen, I probably wouldn't even be bothered. But I do it out of the enjoyment factor. Yeah. I think everyone knows that I love doing all to do with this. So if they take one look at Instagram, they'd see. So
for sure. If you were to compete, what category would you go for? Where would you go?
I don't think I'm classic at all. I don't think I would never do men's physique, and that's not a diss. Well, it is a diss. So it'd probably be a weight class, I presume.
Yeah.
In bodybuilding, yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Joe, do you want to take the topics?
Yeah, sure. I don't get an introduction then, all right then.
No. We all know who you are.
I'm trying to reach out here, so I'm just co-host for now.
We had it right there, the topics. Okay.
Shut up. Right, so no need to be so rude. I wasn't expecting this to go so fast straight away.
You take your sweet time. Jeez, I'm looking.
Did you want longer introductions? Did you want this to be a round table on who we are?
This is
yes.
This is a great podcast.
Because that's a pile of shit, that.
Right, so the whole topic of this debate was intended to be key principles for hypertrophy. Now, everyone on this podcast is pretty much in agreement to some extent on training styles and stuff like that. But to the people that aren't aware of each of us, let's take a few minutes to discuss our take on training intensity, styles, hypertrophy, and recoverable volume, that sort of thing. So AJ, if you want to start off.
Okay. I mean,
in the deep end.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
AJ, go.
How long do you want to be here for?
Yeah.
I want to be in bed by 10.
That question was so multifaceted. I mean, it's a hole that is so deep that, you know,
that's the way you like it, though, right?
Seriously lost in that hole. But
I think if this is going to be a podcast, I'm not trying to teach people. Try and do it in the most simple way possible.
Yeah.
Because I think training is simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think there's nuances that you can get into, that you can overcomplicate things and ruin all your.
Okay, let's start off with finding your maximum recoverable volume.
Okay.
That's a good one. Okay.
Do you want me to start a little bit?
If you wish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, the term MRV is something that's not like, actually the term itself is not new, but a lot of people are thinking that it's new because Mike Israetel has popularized that term, the maximum recoverable volume, and basically the volume landmarks, as people may have heard of them. People may not on this podcast have ever heard of those landmarks. So if you want to find out more about volume landmarks, go to renaissanceperiodization.com, check them out. There's plenty of good information there on volume landmarks. In terms of how I view volume landmarks, I definitely go a little differently to how Mike would prescribe finding your volume landmarks, because a lot of people will read Mike's stuff and they might even go from this podcast and then read it and then try some of the thresholds which he thinks that are your upper end, which they've come to the conclusion that those are the upper end thresholds by doing research studies, taking cohorts of people that have trained within different volumes and figured out where their maximum threshold is, which basically means how much can they train, how much volume can they handle before their ability to create efficient volume or effective reps or quality volume drops off and they start performing what would be determined as junk volume, and what would be determined as volume that would be coming at a higher cost to fatigue than to stimulus. And that's another one of his terms, which is stimulus to fatigue ratio, which again is a pretty solid term. It's great terms, but some of the ways that we find these variables are probably a little different to what Mike does. And I believe that that's actually the same within mine, Christian's, and Jack's training. Maybe not Jack's training, actually. We'll go on to his training a little bit. His volume landmark's probably a little bit different to some others. And that's nothing wrong, by the way. It's just different. So in terms of how I like to find MRV with a client, we'll always start pretty low and we will just simply try to add work when possible, especially on smaller isolation-based moves where the stimulus to fatigue ratio is potentially more favorable to adding more volume. So for example, on a lateral raise, you might be able to add an extra set. You might be able to go from 3 to 4 sets on a lateral raise, and your fatigue, you won't really feel much difference. If you add another set of a hip hinge or a row, your fatigue's going to skyrocket, and your stimulus to fatigue ratio on that row is now a little skewed, and you're going to start to find where your thresholds will be in that range. So I'll start, like I said, pretty low. I'll work things up, and I'll read their logbook numbers and their check-ins, and I'll start to understand as to whether they're on a volume amount that causes them to have pretty decent progressions, somewhat linear progressions on some movements, before then reaching a point normally around like 6 to 8 weeks of solid training where they may well need to back off and deload. They keep hitting a point where they're like overreaching, not overtraining, overreaching, and they're having those overreaching symptoms, which we can get into later. It's a whole different topic. They're having overreaching symptoms and they're having them too frequently or too soon. It's probably a sign they're doing a little bit too much. Equally, if their logbook numbers aren't progressing, and especially if they're feeling DOMS soreness prior to the session on the same body part that they trained 2 or 3 days ago, again, another sign they're probably doing too much. Signs that you're doing too much, pretty easy to figure out. Now, what there is a huge amount of like variability in is what I've actually taught to Jack really recently on this is rep accuracy. There's a huge difference in how accurate some people can be with reps. You'll see some people do a set of, let's take bent over rows because they're such a common exercise that some people do really well, some people butcher, some people get great connections, some people don't. Some people like to do a different range of motion, some people don't. Like, it's loads of different ways to bend over row. I've bent over rowed in so many different ways, even my own training. So you have a bent over row, like your rep accuracy might be completely different to someone who is performing it different to you. Your stimulus of fatigue might be completely different to someone performing different to you. Training experience comes massively into MRV as well. The more experienced you get, the more accurate you can be. So you can have greater rep accuracy, and also you can have greater intensity. If you're training with people that are consistently training harder and harder and harder, like, you know, if you were to do, like, walk into Ultimate Fitness, for example, with like Jermaine, if you were walking into Ultimate Fitness and the first time you trained legs was on your own, and then you came, and then you came back next week and Sai says, I want you to join me for a leg session, your ability to create intensity has suddenly gone a little different. And also your MRV is probably absolutely in the gutters because Sai does not have low volume. So like,
don't crap me on hack squat.
Just finish the session with back squats. I've never been blown away with many people's programming. Like, I've just been looking at it like, how the fuck does that work? But for him it works. It's insane. He's just an absolute beast. But so rep accuracy is a huge thing. Training age is a huge thing because the greater your ability to create intensity. And just that's all I want to say for now, so I can leave some other stuff for the guys to sort of add on MRV.
Right, who's it going to be next, Jack or Christian? Who's going to be more coy?
I don't mind jumping in whilst there's still something left to talk about. But and then obviously, so like AJ said, you've got variability in terms of how sort of accurate people can be. And then also you've got variability in terms of everyone's going to recover differently. Everyone's going to have different abilities to recover. These factors are not only innate. So some of these characteristics are innate. You're born with them. So like me, for example, I had like spots on my chest when I was younger, and in rage I ripped them off one day. And they scarred really, like they come off my chest like that much. And I went to see someone about like how I could get them sorted, and basically they said the reason why you had them was because your body like it over produces to sort of heal. So which is why I think I can sort of, my recoverability is quite good. So my body goes over and beyond to recover. So you've got that, but then you've also got stuff that you can't control in your life, so say stressors, and that all of that is going to affect how you recover. So the stuff like just everything. Are you doing things so how's your sleep? What's your stress like? Do you do any sort of like stretching, active recovery, stuff like that? That's all going to be things that you've got to take into consideration when you, like, if you're planning your volume out and then you have like a crap week of sleeping, that's not going to be a true reflection on what you can actually do. So until you're nailing all those, like, obviously you're not going to, some people can't nail these all the time. It's not like they've got other things going on in their lives, but until you nail down everything, you can't pinpoint what is truly working. And that goes for most things in bodybuilding. Even if you want to look at, say, like drugs, for example, how can you say whether a drug is working or not if you're messing up all these other variables as well? But apart from that, I think AJ covered a lot of things, really. I know he touched upon that I do a little bit more volume. And he also alluded to the fact that potentially that might be down to rep accuracy. So I've had some issues. I'm not going to delve into it too much, but I've had some issues in regards like muscle recruitment and stuff like that. So I feel that potentially sometimes I can't get the most out of a set that potentially someone else could, who's really accurate with their training. And then that links back into then when AJ was talking about the experienced individual, people with less training experience often are prescribed higher volumes, and that's because they can't create the sort of, not only are they not able to tap into those higher threshold motor units to get to the sort of, they're termed effective reps, so the 4 reps away from failure. Not that they may be able to get to the 2 reps to failure, but to be able to truly tap into those last few, they need to have like quite a high training age to be able to recruit enough muscle fibers to get to that standard. And also some of them aren't willing to do it yet at a young training age. They haven't got the sort of durability to get there. Some people just walk into the gym and are able to do that. And then lost my train of thought then. I went on too far with that. But yeah, far too far. Christian, have you got anything to add to that?
So
Christian?
I was just going to ask, sorry, Jack, what would you define your training as? Would you say you do DC training at this point? Where would you place yourself?
No, I'd say fairly. I like the whole 2 sets, like loading set, back off set. So one of a lower rep range and then one more slightly higher. However, quite often it won't be, for me, it won't be a 2 set. It'll be more like 3 to 4.
Yeah.
To 6. Depending on how many you fuck up and want to do again.
Yeah.
To be fair, I haven't done that like
Have you
in
not?
ages.
That's
no.
good, man.
Good
stuff.
Proud of you.
That's always, I think that's a psychological thing though, of always thinking that more is better. And I really struggle to get away from that, and I know that hinders a lot of people as well. It is something that I've thought about and like thinking, what would actually happen if I was forced to say if someone said, right, you're not allowed to do more than 2, like you're physically not allowed to. I wonder what would actually happen. But I don't know. Potentially, like for example, AJ, I know when I trained with you in MJ's, I was able to nail down 2 sets on a hamstring curl. I think we did 3 maybe. Yeah. 2 or 3. And I was happy to say, right, let's go, because I was battered. So I think some of it with me is to do with the whole injuries I've had. And that goes with a lot of people as they get older and they pick up niggles, they tend to slip towards the higher volume stuff to make up for the fact that they can't potentially cause as much damage within those, say, 2 sets, for example. But Christian, I know you've switched to sort of like a fortitude sort of training style now. How are you finding that, and with regards to what we're talking about, like volume, etc.?
Yeah, I used to pulverize myself with volume. I was like, yeah, man, I'm recovering. Yeah, I'm sweet. But the fact that I never grew probably coincided with the fact that I wasn't recovering. So with Fortitude, there's 3 different volume tiers. And then there is also a turbo version, which, Jack, I think you'd fucking love that. But, man, I'm literally, obviously post-diet, I was pretty fragile and beat up anyway. Tier 1 is, like, ruining me. And it is fucking so low. It's such low volume. I was doing Tier 2 before the end of the diet. But towards the end of the diet, I was just like, I can't recover from it at all. So my main thing to speak on after AJ and Jack have took the floor is it's completely fucking individual. Jack, if I trained with Jack, I would die. If I trained with, actually, in fact, if I trained a session with AJ, I wouldn't be able to keep up with the volume, I don't think. And that's not a dig. That's just saying it's completely individual.
Stage.
So I would say for like someone who's listening to this, get the most from as little at the start and then add stuff in. Don't fuck yourself up with, I've got to do this, I've got to add this, I've got to add this.
Yeah.
But actually perform the exercise well. And then, because if your form's shit, you'll never get an idea of what your recoverable volume is, because you're probably not even fucking doing half your shit right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been swearing a lot.
No, it's fine. There's no filter. You can say what you want.
And also,
we've had a lot on this show. We've had anal beads, foot jobs, everything. So
yeah, literally.
We won't start on that. But obviously, everyone talks about reps and loads as the way to progress. But obviously, like I'm not a massive fan of progressing volume over time. But it is something you can do. So like what Christian said, if you go all guns blazing and start off with really high volume, you've got nowhere to go from there. So if, for example, Christian's now doing tier 1 fortitude, he's got loads that he can progress on from that.
Yeah.
Christian, do you think that the reason why fortitude tier 1 is working for you well now is because obviously you were in a dieting phase, you've come out of it, granted your calories aren't high, but they are higher. Do you feel like potentially because your strength is, I presume your strength is rising quite quickly, is it?
Mate, it's scary.
Yeah, well, do you think that that's the reason why the volume you're doing, even though it's so low, is still battering you, is because you're not used to the loads you're shifting now?
Yeah, because like the first couple of weeks after diet, because the load wasn't crazy, I was like, man, recovered so well. It's my 6th week this week, and I feel like I'm going to die. Yeah. Everything fucking hurts, but it's because I'm adding, like, you know, when you think about like adding a 2.5 onto lifts, I'm adding a plate onto lifts. Yeah, and it's like it's fucking.
Those are natty biscuits. 1.25s and 2.5s. They're natty biscuits.
Bro, I am practically natty right now though. So.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Blood will suffice this week as well. But it is literally all from food. And Jack, you say calories aren't high, like training day calories are pretty much 5,000 already.
Oh, I didn't realise they were. That's right then.
Yeah. Like we ramped that up fucking straight away, and that's what provided the well, I wouldn't even say growth, but the strength increase so fast. Like it's I think it's like gone up like dangerously quick because like my joints are fucking hurt.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you've got to be careful of like joints and connective tissue then.
Especially when I'm doing movements, bro, that I've like never ever programmed because of obviously doing it out of the garage. Like mate, flat barbell and incline barbell. I've never done that in my life, mate. And my elbows, it's like. But I tell you what, considering I've like never felt that exercise before, I'm like loving it now. It's class. I wouldn't continue it when the gym opens, but it's actually, I'm quite enjoying it, but probably because it's progressing so fast. But
tickling the ego.
Yeah, but the dumbbells arrived this week. Fucking busy.
What dumbbells? What size you got?
Well, they'll go up in 5s from 10 all the way up to 60.
Fuck me.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
That's a set, mate.
Who did you fucking rob to get them?
You what?
Who did you rob to get them?
Hey, do you want to know how much you paid for them? 190 quid.
Well, that's outrageous.
Brand new.
Do you know what? I've heard worse. To be honest.
I've seen someone selling a pair of 60s for 250 quid.
Yeah.
So.
What a crazy climate we live in now.
I had to do a bit of gay for pay for it.
I was just about to say, who did you sell?
Gobble, gobble.
So what is everyone's training situation now? I know that AJ's built his home gym garage, which is looking stellar. He's added kit to it all the time. What about Jack and Christian?
Well, I've got now... Yeah, because Jermaine, we've only followed each other from today. So
I know, literally, yeah.
I've got a squat rack, a barbell, about 360 kilos worth of plates. So I slammed that on the incline barbell at the moment. All of that. Abductor, adductor. I've got a seated hamstring. I've got a leg extension, a rope pulley, sissy squat, and a banner.
Wow.
The banner is the best thing in the gym, to be honest.
To be fair, in both
Multifunctional.
of your gyms, it does make it.
It does look good. It's a good look.
An adjustable bench, obviously, and then the dumbbells are coming this week. So,
kitted.
What about you, Jack?
Jack's
yeah, I just bought a whole gym. You won't believe the amount of people that have messaged me and said, like, fair play, mate, you've got some really good kit. Oh,
fucking dumb.
Fair play, Jack.
Yeah.
I've been fairly fortunate. What? I've been fairly fortunate to have access to. It's essentially like a gym in like a lock-up kind of thing. So it is a garage, but a large garage, basically.
Yeah.
I've had access to that for about 10 weeks. It's only the past week that I've had to come out of it because he's moving out of that lock-up to his own. He's moving all the equipment to his own house, which is pretty cool. Yeah. He's got a big enough garage, and he's having the garage extended where he's basically having a gym there.
That's insane.
And now I've managed to source another little hideout as well. So I think what it's made me realise is that there's a hell of a lot more places open than people think. Like not like open for public, but
just
most gyms are still, unless it's a commercial gym, most gyms are still having people in. So but the one that I'm in at the moment is actually open. They've opened to everyone. It's not even like a secret sort of thing now.
Guess I'll go on the road trip then.
Literally said, I don't care. Fine. He puts the temperature gun to your head when you walk in. It looks like you got a sniper on you, and then just scans you and says, "Good to go." Done.
What the fuck?
Just got an image in my head of a guy in like the Monster Inc. yellow suit, just stood at the door waiting for you with the gun.
Yes. So
you've got that.
Changed been all right for me. To be fair, I've had massive admiration for you, both Christian and AJ, in terms of the amount of kit you've sourced and stuff.
Yeah.
But what about you two, Joe and Jermaine?
Yeah. So at the moment, because I still live and work currently in a university halls, that's my job. So I study here, and I also work in reception and whatever else. I'm a halls manager. And we still have residents here, so I have to stay here because there's still people who actually need to be looked after. I'm in a situation where I do not have the space to put the kit that I want, and I'm in a position where, luckily, I'm financially stable enough that if I wanted to, I could probably source and buy a leg press, let's say. But there's no way I could put that anywhere unless it's outside the back of my flat. So
Central Birmingham.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just
that leg press won't be there for long.
No.
Be in the fucking canal.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but how much of a nightmare is it actually moving the fucking equipment into places?
Oh fuck me! I severed my whole arm on that pre-core leg curl.
I got my fucking ball sack open.
Yeah. I've cut so much of my body moving this shit into my garage.
I honestly, I wouldn't want to do it again. I don't want to buy anything else, just for the fact of
great.
How much
of it's like old school kit, so it weighs like
a ton,
an absolute ton. Like the hack squat seemed to weigh like the same as about 4 cars.
Yeah. It's all disassembled when it arrives.
What, the hack? The hack was assembled, yeah. But
yikes. Yeah.
He said, "Oh, it's all right. 2 people will carry it." Bullshit.
Nothing or older than my equipment. Check out Pulsar, mate. It's from the fucking 80s.
Pulsar, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, Valentin.
Yeah.
he messaged me saying, "Oh, is that a pull start machine?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
And he said, "Mate, hold on to that." He said, "That's like a relic." I was like, "Okay."
sell it for 10K.
Yeah. Now's the time to sell it. Like, let's have a second to talk about just the price of kit now. Because especially where I am, it's skyrocketed. It was the prices for, like, in the space of a week, it went from, let's say, 60 quid, 70 quid, 80 quid for 220 plates. It's now 120 plus where I am.
Easy.
Yeah, it's getting insane. So how have you guys managed to source a lot of your equipment? Because I've resorted to buying agricultural wheels at this point.
Your range of motion on your deadlift is absolute fucking tosh.
Yeah, it's so bad. I've been trying to, I've been looking at like platforms or trying to find a place where I can just stand on a bench and do it off of the bench instead. And maybe try and do a deficit if possible. But yeah.
Off a bench.
Yeah, have you seen the wagon wheels?
You'll need a set of like high-rise flats to create the deficit.
I'll go grab one if I remember later. But like,
I'm gonna be stiff-legging off my old apartment block.
I saw the picture on Facebook Marketplace, and in my head I was like, it's probably around the same size of a 25 plate. Like
Incorrect.
However, that'll be great. It was like pretty cheap. Some guy had just like bored out a hole so it would fit the barbell, and I was like, yeah, it's cheap. I'll go grab it. When I grabbed it, and like it's fucking one of them's like it's halfway like up my leg, like it's up my mid thigh.
So it's like one of them strongman events, isn't it?
It is. It's literally. It's. I'm amazed that like they actually work at all. To be honest, that they're actually weigh the same. That's amazing to me.
I just got really lucky with kit. To answer the question, I just got very, very lucky.
Yeah.
Like the day that I got most of the plates that I got, I literally put on my story, does anyone know anyone with plates? Yeah. And I got a message off someone at 11:30 at night saying, "Oh, I've still got some left." And he was selling plates from a gym that was closing down 20 minutes down the road from me.
Oh, perfect.
I went and picked them up. I think I got almost 200 kilos worth of weight for like 180 quid. And Jordan plates. Like, it was like absolute bargain. I would have considered buying them even if I wasn't in lockdown.
Yeah.
And I got a bench off him, an adjustable bench. Yeah, it's a bit fucking rusty and it could be better, but I got that for 20 quid, you know? So
bargain.
I had a steal there. I had a steal on the leg press, although it needs about 44 cans of WD-40 to get it to move remotely smoothly. It's a horrible piece of kit. It's like you come down with it and you're like, fuck me, this is awesome, like so smooth. And then right at the bottom, it like for some reason it just stops. Just stops. It's like it just doesn't move. It goes like, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then the whole foot pad starts to bend as if the metal is going to crack. It's a horrible piece of kit. Hence why I got the hack, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that for like, I think 320 quid, and they're like over $1,000 new.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not totally shit. It's just when you're used to, you know, having 4 choices of leg presses in Ultraflex, going down from that to a body solid leg press is quite a degrade. And then the hack was just on like a Facebook place called Synergy Home, like Use or something.
Yeah.
Callum bought a Cybex row and his leg curl from them as well. Do really good deals. I got that for like 400 quid. So all in all, I didn't spend a lot of money. Like in the grand scheme of things, I could have spent a lot more. Put it that way. I still spent, you know, for most people, a decent whack of money on kit, but I could have spent double, triple easily if I hadn't have fallen into good situations. So
yeah, I think I was similarly. I don't like using the word lucky because
it doesn't exist.
I still spend my own money that I worked hard for, and I travelled more miles in a week than I ever have done. Yeah. Essential travel, yeah, mate. Squat rack in the boot. Like squat rack was like 70 quid. This guy was just knocking them up. He was like, yeah, just sell them on eBay. I was like, fucking, I couldn't get it now. But my advice to people is this, because this is what I did a lot. Go on eBay and type in what you want or what you need and just put nearest first on the thing. And I was messaging like probably 20 people a day and just saying, I'll come and get it now. I will literally be 5 minutes and I'll come and get it. And people are like, okay, well, I'll take this for it. Okay. I think, to be fair, the most expensive thing was my fucking bar.
How much you pay for your barbell?
Enough. It's a road bar. It's a road bar, so I mean, I'm basically a fucking powerlifter because I've got a road bar. I carry it into the gym on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Right, lads.
You keep it behind the counter.
With the duster on it as well.
Yeah. It is, to be fair, it's a really nice bar, so I'm happy with it. But that's the only thing that I paid over the odds for, because I stupidly bought a fucking 15 kilo strength bar.
That's exactly the same as me. Exactly the same.
You bought a 15 kilo bar?
I bought because I thought it was going to weigh the same, even though it was a 5-footer.
I saw a few people do this. I've seen a few people do this.
Would fit in my garage, so I bought a 5. It didn't say the weight on it, and it was a 15. I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, and mate, I did one exercise with it and bent it. Because I'm so fucking strong, man. You know what I mean?
Strength shop 5-footer review. Bent.
No, mine was a 6.
One use bent.
Yeah, I fucking
used
sold
one, spent.
Yeah. I sold it though. Pussy.
Bent.
Yeah. In perfect working order. Never been raced or rallied. And then what else about, mate? The abductor thing I got for 100 quid.
Decent.
And it's thick. It's a bit of a ball ache to get into it.
How heavy's the stack?
Fucking heavy.
It is heavy, yeah.
Yeah,
you pinged a few fibers on it.
The yeah, been a JP. A life fitness one. I can put fucking 4 plates on one of them and do a rest pause. But this is I'll do the stack and I can do 22 reps on the stack or something. Which is
decent.
If you're doing a rest pause, it's more than enough.
Yeah.
But the holes are too small for the extender.
Can he not make you a custom made one?
I got one from mine's well old, my extender. So can I get one from Jim Pin or whatever?
Yeah, message him saying make me a custom one with a custom hole.
Yeah, can you
sort them out yet? Or what?
A pulse star.
Make me one for a pulse star. He'll send it to you and it'll be fucking all over the place.
And my leg extension and seated ham curl, I got a fucking steal on them. I was willing to pay because I really wanted them. Probably
they're important pieces.
Yeah, mate, hitting hamstrings at home is
it's a shitter.
So because
worst thing
there's
ever.
only so much fucking RDLing you can fucking do and stiff leg deads because you're just gonna be fucked up. I was like, I just want to be able to contract my hamstring, and then having to get my dad to put a dumbbell between my fucking feet is not ideal.
That's all I've got now.
You scream at him like Tim did.
Yeah, I was doing a Tim. Don't fucking touch it. He's wild. But and leg extension, man, you don't realise how much you miss stuff like that. Jack, you'd be fucked without one.
Well, I thought the new one I went to, I thought it didn't have one, but I found it, and it's like a hamstring curl and leg extension in one.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The annoying thing is, so you can't adjust the pad, so it just presumes everyone's the same height. And my knee's feeling a bit iffy today, and I'm wondering whether I've already given myself bloody tendinopathy in it. But it is the heaviest stack I've ever seen. It's so old.
What brand is it? Is it branded or is it just an old?
It is, but I can't remember. It's so old.
Has the branding worn off or what?
Yeah.
You're not beating the brand of mine. You ain't.
It's it would be one of those that you'd see on Pumping Iron.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. But
Jesus.
it's probably like a 25 pin stack, and I put 7 pins down, and I got 3 reps out on a hamstring. I was like,
oh, I would have fucking paid to have seen that.
Like, it's heavy.
Second warm up.
3 reps.
Knees blowing.
Good set.
Knees gone.
The worst one is I'm on a massive adductor kick at the moment. Like, I've fallen in love with training them. Until before lockdown, I'd never touched them really. I'd do them at the end of a session. But at the moment, I'm trying to do them like all the time. Christian, shut up. So you'll laugh at this. You won't believe what I'm doing. Have you ever seen a hip rotatory machine? It's basically
They're fucking awful.
It's the thing you do like kickbacks with.
Whoever thought of them is the worst person ever.
So it's on like a rotate. It's almost like if you look at a standing lateral raise machine.
Yeah.
But then where the handles would be, it's like a pad coming out, and you like kick your leg back with it, or you can do it the other way and like drive your leg up against it. And at the moment, I'm trying to do adductors on that. So I'm standing, looking at it straight, with one leg up here, and then like bringing it together, and everyone's looking at me like,
rotary hip.
Nice.
Yeah. Type in rotary hip machine on Google, and that's what it is.
There's one at Strength Asylum. I've never seen anyone use it.
Pointless piece of kit. No stability whatsoever. Just going to tear your adductor tendon straight off the bone.
So I might try on a cable doing it with a cuff, but
yeah, it does work, but it's annoying.
Yeah,
it's
annoying.
more the fact that you can't stabilize yourself because you've got to know where to like position against. The only thing you could do is like hook a bench up to it or something. But the gym I'm at is full of like, it's not a bodybuilding gym, it's a boxer's gym. So most of the people go there are fucking standing there doing the shadow boxing in between sets. So that's bad enough.
And you're over there in the corner on the rotary hip.
And then it's like, what's this fairy doing? Like, needs must.
Yeah, got to do it.
Basically, I really wanted a seated hamstring curl and a leg extension.
Yeah.
And AJ, it was on that, you'll probably be on the Facebook group, that gym equipment Facebook group, that Synergy's on it.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't from him, it was from this other guy. And man, I got pretty fucking lucky, to be fair. Because he wanted to sell, because they're all the same brand, an adductor machine and an abductor machine. But I was like, man, I've already got them. Will you take an offer for just those two? And he was like, yeah, how much you thinking? And they were all up for $1,000 for all 4. I thought that's pretty good, even for all 4 of them. And I said, I'll give you 400 quid. And he was like, yeah, okay. I was like, oh, right, buzzing. Like 200 quid a machine. I think that's fucking cheap.
Yeah.
Super cheap.
And then I was like, oh, right, where are you located? Fucking 4-hour drive.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I don't care. I was like, I'll transfer the money, I'll sort it.
Wow.
So I put on Facebook. No, not on Facebook. Who uses Facebook, man? Apart from all these racists these days. So I put it on Instagram. Does anyone know like a travel, not a travel, oh my God.
Travel lodge.
Take your time.
Yeah. Does it
travel lodge available?
Like a transport company or haulage company. And obviously I'm sponsored by Strong, plug.
Nice.
Rick messaged me straight away on WhatsApp. He's like, mate, what are you doing? I said, I need to pick up 2 pieces of gym equipment. I'm not driving 8 hours for it. Not a chance. And he said, oh, well, just use our haulage company. I was like, okay. And I can't say what it costs because I can't. But nothing, basically. And literally, I messaged the guy who owns the company, and it was about 9 o'clock. I told him where it is, gave him the phone number for the guy and everything. He's like, yeah, I've got a van on the way there now. They'll be there in an hour. They'll be with you in 5 hours. Like, what?
Fucking hell, that's insane.
And mate, literally, but they disassembled it in the gym. Okay, I can't do DIY. I can't. I don't own one spanner in the house.
Strong again.
Nothing. I don't own any piece of equipment like that. So it got delivered to my mum and dad's garage, and they also don't do DIY. I assembled these things by fucking hand with like screwing them in like hand tight, and then I had to go and like lend someone's fucking spanner. And I was literally, AJ, I was black and blue, bro. My arm was like grazed to fuck because the stacks came on their own and then all the stuff. And one of the stacks I didn't realise was a bit unsteady and it tipped and I tried to save it. It crushed me against the wall, mate. I smashed the back of my head off the wall.
Oh.
I put like basically where my cock is and my balls. I don't know how that happened, but the stacks are fucking so heavy. And we got them all together. One of the bolts wouldn't go in, so I've just left it. But the leg extension is so smooth. I can't actually get over how good it is. It's a Weeder USA machine.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, nice. But I can already do
like to deliver it himself.
Yeah. I can already like stack it with a 20 on, but at least the extender goes in it.
Yeah.
Right, calm down. Fucking hell.
The seated hamstring curl. It's good. It's
the
heated
hamstring curl. Fuck that sounds really pretty good to me.
Strom's hooking you up good.
Yeah. So it's a bit rocky, a bit rickety. Like if you get locked into a set, it does like move about a bit.
It's a challenge for the stabilizing muscle groups.
Yeah.
Around the torso.
It's intentional. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's good. And the stack is I'm nowhere near the stack.
That's good.
Yeah.
For a hamstring curl, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Mine's way too light.
Oh, AJ, come and have a go on this.
I need to come round immediately, really.
It goes up to 100 kilo. It says. I'm at like 50 and like failing at like 10. But
Jesus,
I think it's the design of the machine.
The profile must be horribly hard.
It's really hard to contract on it. That's why.
Yeah.
And then my sissy squat was like 50 quid. The cable pulley system, which I recommend to anyone, on eBay, 40 quid, and it comes with everything. And it took literally, like I said, I don't do DIY. It took me 5 minutes to set it up. And it's so good because there is actually quite a lot of stuff you can do on it. Like I didn't even think of at the time. I just wanted it for triceps. But there's loads you can do.
I've had to make quite a few modifications to my pre-core leg curl. You'll see in the footage, there's a red hoodie at one end wrapped around it.
I've seen that.
Like, why? Like, you'd ask why.
I was thinking you need more support on the calves.
Yeah. I just raised the back of my leg. The pad is bent, very bent. But when you put your legs up, your legs are like.
With my hips, that's natural, so it would probably bounce out.
Yeah, it'd probably be the perfect leg curl for you.
Yeah.
And I've had to tie a strength shot resistance band around the actual thing that the pad, the leg pad, because in the contracted fully short position, it pops out of its setting and automatically slides down and out of your feet. So it becomes like a tibialis raise at the bottom. You're doing like tibialis with 100 kilos. So yeah, that's but that one, once that was fixed, it's actually a really good piece of kit. And now I've got the pin on it. I can get a good set of like 8 to 10 on it.
Nice.
Is that pin working all right?
The pin's much better. The first gym pins were awful.
Did you try the first ones? Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to tell the listeners about your experience in the DMs with the
Oh no!
Right, so
Story time.
The gym that I was at had bought one off gym pin, right? So supposedly they're all good now, so I haven't got a bad word to say. But we had the old ones, and they wouldn't fit in the machine, and no clip could fit on them, so they were a complete waste of time because they'd slip out and nothing was holding them in. So I put up a picture of the pin that I was using, which was from Gym Kit, because they do them as well. and someone messaged me from an account that I didn't follow, just a random bloke saying, "Oh, where did you get this pin from, mate?" And I said, "Oh, Gym Kit Island. I have tried the gym pin ones, but they're fucking shit." Who do you think this random person in the DMs was?
Oh,
Nothing to do with gym pin, I suppose.
The owner of Gym Pin.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So that was a quite awkward conversation.
Aye, sounds it.
But they must have sorted them, because if like
The
AJ's
welding
using
was
them,
awful.
Hollingshead's using them.
Yeah.
So,
Let's go for a piss, lads.
Okay.
All right.
Enjoy.
Yeah, the
Hopefully off camera.
welding was terrible. So you.
how
it
heavy?
weighed
How
like
heavy is the
nothing.
new one?
It's 7 kilos.
Oh, so it is heavier. Good.
Yeah.
Right.
The other one was like 2.
The only issue, they've still got one issue though. So on the gym shop kit, or the Gym Island one, whatever it's fucking called, there's a hole. There's a drilled hole, so you can put like a selector, like a pin that you actually put into a machine. You could put it at the end of the pin.
Right.
So especially on an adductor, it stops all the plates smashing off, but coming off and hitting you. You can't do that, so you have to put like a full-on clip on there if you want to like secure it all, which it just is dodgy sometimes. Unless you get it right, it doesn't work as well as the pin in the end, which just that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So they still need to make that. I've told them already. I hope that needs to change. So hopefully it'll change that, and then it'll be perfect. But yeah, it's a lot better of a pin. It's funny, like at Ultraflex, you think like, oh, the kit's like all really, really heavy, but like on pull days, like literally pretty much every machine now, every prime machine where we're using the pin, the Cybex row, we're using the pin extender, we're putting 20, 30 kilos extra on it. The prime seated row, putting more on it. The prime leg extension, pinning that. So I guess that's a good thing, because I never had to do that at any other previous gyms.
The problem is, like, realistically, you're a 24-year-old natural.
Where the fuck do I go now?
I
know, yeah.
That's what I'm worried about. Like, granted, I could probably slow down some of my reps and stuff like that, but on the adductor, I'm doing the stack plus 4 25s on top.
Yeah, see, this is what we were talking to Matt about the other week.
Yeah.
About you get to a point and it's like, well, at this point we don't have any other options. Like, we're going to have to either absolutely rinse like certain techniques, like eccentrics, whatever, or we're going to have to start to play around with the volume again. So where do you think where do you think you will go from that? Because at some point we're all probably going to end up being in that position, because we can't all just
bodybuilding.
The problem is I broke like 3 machines from pinning stuff to it.
That's what I was worried about.
I feel so bad when I do it. Well, actually, I remember when I first did it to an adductor.
Yeah.
Jermaine, you know Foundry Wolverhampton?
Yes.
I broke the one there, and first it hurt when I broke it. Because I went to like use all the force to close on the first rip, and the thing, like the cable snapped, and like I just literally went like that, like rapid, like the fastest adductor you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I looked around and I felt like such a cock, because let's be honest, most people who look at you pinning plates to a machine probably think you're a bit of a twat anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I know, man, I'm fucking so strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had it.
And then it was out of order for 2 weeks, and I was fucking so pissed off at myself because I'm putting it out there, man. There's no better machine for legs. Well, to make your legs look bigger. Yeah. I don't think.
I had one.
Surely depends on insertions, though. We discussed this the other week as well. It depends on obviously where your lines are. It's like, if you're blessed with nice outer sweep, if you can keep building the outer sweep, not to a point where it looks fucking ridiculously off. But we discussed this with Matt, and I discussed this with Simon. It's not been released yet. It will be by the time this is released, because he's genetically blessed.
Matt Tofton and Simon Brooker.
Yeah, big fucking boy.
And so we were discussing the way he trains and the way he had to train to get to a certain level, and it was barely fuck all because he's a super hyper responder. Whereas Tofton's a little bit different, and he changes his volume not regularly, but he's moved away from PPL and moved on to his customized split, and he kept referring to like Jay Cutler style training, where the form, the execution of the rep, each set, doesn't matter if it's your top set, back off set or anything, that's the most important thing.
So focus on cumulative volume, I guess.
Yes. So for the listeners, if you haven't listened to it already, go and give that a listen, because we touch on that and we're not going to touch on it again. So go and listen to it.
Yeah.
I just realised we've got completely off topic as well.
Should
It happens. That's like,
honestly, I think it's been better than talking about fucking.
Yeah.
I agree.
Fuck the round table.
one more
I
thing.
haven't laughed like that, Jack, in about a year.
To be fair,
I'll put it on 7 out of 25. 3 reps.
Hey, it was a fucking good 3 reps though.
Oh, but I bet.
bet.
You know when you lifted the first one, I bet you thought it's on. It's fucking
Yeah, but you
on.
know, with a hamstring curl, it's all right though, isn't it? Like you take it off, and you're like, yeah, I fucking got this. You get
And then you get
halfway
there.
up, and it's that bit, and you're like,
Fucking hell. Yeah.
luckily there was no one else in there. I looked right to
Was the set still 3 minutes long?
1 minute,
Golden
1 minute,
centrics.
1 minute per rep.
Just like resetting the left leg.
That's your new intensity technique. Thorburn intensity. That's what you
Hey,
need.
that's a lot better now, AJ. I'll have you know. So.
Yeah, no, I know it is.
But I still do now and again on a leg press. I'll still do a rep, not be happy with it. So I'll keep one leg. You'll shudder at the thought of this.
Yeah.
I keep one leg on the leg press whilst
The other
it's
leg
off.
off.
And I take the other one off and I pop my hip and put it back on.
Mate, one day that's gonna come down on that leg that's on the leg.
Guys,
Yeah.
that's why my left leg is progressing, because I have that isometric hold at the top, and it's like stay.
Oh, Jack.
It's a JT technique.
Yeah.
Trained by Jay.
Single leg isometric hold.
I'm being honest, mate. I've missed watching your training on Instagram. I have.
Same. Yeah.
I miss putting that up. To be honest, I could potentially put it up now, because
I think
It's
you
not-
should, mate.
no one knows where this place is. Like
Yeah, do it.
in the
If they're letting other
old
people
one,
in, just do it.
Yeah.
in the old one, like people knew. Funny enough, like someone messaged me from Scotland saying you're training at so and so's gym, and I was like, "How the fuck do you know that?" And he was like, "Oh,
Training with
because
a wee bunker.
because JP shared a picture that he put up of the same adductor you're using." And I was like, "Fucking hell, all right, Sherlock
Yeah.
Holmes." Christ.
Fucking sad bastard.
Like, yeah, like I filmed a couple of sets today and looked at it and thought, you know what, like if I put that up, no one's gonna have a clue. But
And fuck it. Well, but to be fair,
AJ, what
What
did you
sort of-
high incline press 90k for the other day?
I got it for 10 today. Is that
I asked the other day, not today.
the other day was 9.
All right, okay, I'm still I'm still short.
What's this,
I thought I'd equaled you. I got 8, and I thought
So
I'd
like 45 degree, like there.
Oh,
yeah.
no, that's not high incline.
It's not 45 degree. It's probably, I don't even know what degree it is. What degree it is? It like 60-ish?
Yeah.
You need to get
Really,
the
quite
tractor out, don't you? Measure it.
I do really. Yeah, the protractor for the bench.
I got 2.5 plates on that side the other day.
It's good.
Which, mate, like I am shit at barbell pressing.
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay.
I can't.
Like, is that going to be like a focus for you? Like, because
Well,
what's your pressing strength like in general?
with dumbbells, really fucking good.
Yeah.
Well, I say really fucking good. I got to flat dumbbell press last off season, 67.5 for 8.
That is good.
But put me under a barbell, mate. Like if you put me under a barbell at that point, I probably would have struggled with a plate and a half. Honestly,
Oh.
I think with stuff like that, those kind of movements, again, same with barbell squat, because I've had to do all this stuff that I've never really programmed. because I just think there's better movements out there.
Yeah.
I think you have to really practice those kind of movements to get strong at them. If you don't do them every week, you just won't get stronger at them. I think, anyway.
Yeah.
Barbell's fucking hard, man.
See, I feel like, for me, I feel like I've almost now, in retrospect, now that we're in lockdown, missed the trick. Because I feel like ever since I started training when I was maybe 15, when I started training, I always did have a knack for barbell. However, after I pinged my chest a couple of years ago,
couple of fibers,
I think I just shut myself up to the point where I just don't want to touch it ever again. Definitely, that is definitely realistically one of my strongest lifts. So that's something as soon as my rack arrives and a bench arrives, because I have room for that. As soon as that arrives, I'm just going to absolutely start rinsing barbell. That's one of my goals for the rest of this.
It's definitely been fun. It's a challenge, man.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm treating it as now. It's just trying to figure out.
Like AJ's post tonight, challenge.
Challenge. This is a challenge for us all.
Yeah.
We've embraced it.
You're gonna get in on the challenge? Are you gonna start barbelling or anything like that? What's your situation?
Who, me?
Who's asking?
Joe.
Joe, are you going to barbell? Are you barbelling?
Are you barbelling?
I don't have a barbell.
Belling the bar.
Plus, I have no room. I've got a scaffolding up in the garden at the minute, so a lot of the outside areas.
You bench pressing the scaffold.
He's shown this
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
No, I'm squatting it. Pressing's always been weak, but so pretty much there's barely any room anywhere. So I'm fortunate enough that I had a lot of shit from when I was like 15, 16. So I've still got adjustable dumbbells. Go up to we've got it up now to 30s, which is nice. Got a couple of bands, some basic shit, but only about 60 kilos worth of plates because I was in hospital at the start, so I didn't think I was going to train at all. But I'm all right. So I've been looking at buying some more shit, but I think I might just wait now because fingers crossed it's not going to be that much longer.
How long do you think it's going to be, guys, now?
Well, I've heard English gyms is 4th of July, around that time.
Yeah, I was going to say 4 to 6 weeks, I reckon.
Yeah.
Well, for you in England, it's within like 4 weeks or so.
Yeah, it's all fucked up down your end, isn't it?
They're like 3 weeks behind.
You're going to wear 3 face masks when you go out now, or something like that. Like one here, one here, one here. No, I'm not fucking joking. It was on the news this morning. So you probably die of asphyxiation.
I abide by the rules to the T.
Yeah.
To the T.
Do you think they'll make us wear masks in the gym? That is one concern of mine.
No, but in commercial gyms or gyms with a certain square footage, you'll have to have like a booking system and a slot.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Apparently, according to Cuba, that's not going to happen at Ultraflex. How true that is, I don't know, because Cuba applies to the fuck 'em principle, which sometimes doesn't work when there's legislation in place.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
Polish style, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, we'll soon find out. I think if there is a 1 hour rule and that gets put in at Ultraflex, which I doubt, but if it does, I won't be training at the gym until the hour limit is lifted, because it will take me an hour to get to my top set on a leg day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'll be
you can try and cheat the system. Just go for an hour in the morning.
If it really came to it, I'd buy like multiple memberships.
Yeah, exactly. Just find a new way around it. Yeah.
I'd buy like 2 memberships so that I can get 2 hours.
Yeah.
Just do all your isolations at one gym and then do all your compounds at the other.
No, I'd have 2 memberships in the same gym. And then just I'd say, well, no, I'm 2 members, so I can have 2 hours.
Jack and Jill Thorburn.
Oh. Have I froze?
No, you're right.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
No, you have froze.
I know you're back.
Fuck's sake. I thought you were going to say just go from, let's say, ultimate to pure gym up the road sort of deal. I don't think you meant...
I thought you were going to do adductors in one place and then hack in the other.
gonna get a fake identity for just
Mr.
training.
Bean's
Walks in with
holiday,
the mustache
fucking
in,
fire it on.
He's got a blonde wig. Yeah.
Jack,
The problem is,
I
like,
would love to see the extremes you would go if, like,
no, the problem is you wouldn't though. You wouldn't want to see it.
Christian would.
I would. Every story you put up, I can't not watch.
Yeah.
Just in case something pop on it.
Something pops off.
I love it. I love
But
it.
I'm not worried about it, but I've had a gym basically to myself for 10.
Oh,
We're losing him.
He's gone.
Man down.
for 10.
I think his current look is great.
Oh, it's fantastic. That's the thumbnail.
I
Photogenic.
actually love it when people freeze. I really do. I really do enjoy it on podcasts when people freeze.
He's really gone. It's not.
I remember one of the size game podcasts or whatever it was, or the UK Pro Muscle, where Hollingshead just froze for like the whole first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
His face was just like, he looked so scared. It was brilliant.
Uber did recently, and his eyes were like.
Yeah.
Oh
like
yeah,
this.
that was Dan McNabb.
Yeah. He's got some right facial expressions on
Oh man,
him.
I think Jack's gone.
I'm a bit
He's
concerned about
done.
this. I love Jack's stories.
I know, it's a shame.
That's probably what he's going to do.
What happens to Jack could not happen to anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I find it hilarious.
it's a way of life.
Does anyone want to take over the train of thought from Jack?
I can say as well. I was training somewhere for the first like 5 weeks, 6 weeks of lockdown.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was acquiring equipment because I was scared that
Smart.
something was going to happen, and something did happen. So
I should have started like 2 weeks before lockdown, like because some people that Friday after lockdown. Oh, he's back. Where were we, Jack?
10 weeks.
Sorry. No.
How far will you go?
I don't know what you were going on to then, but what I was saying was, I've had like 1 or 2 people around me that I've really liked and got on with, and now I've gone into a different environment now. And granted, there's still not a lot of people there, but I'm already looking over at people and they're pissing me off. So like I've had 10, 12 weeks of not, because for some reason, gym fuckery really gets to me, and like idiots in the gym really get to me. So I've had 10 weeks of like just me enjoying it, and obviously you'll all be in the same situation. So you've all just had yourself training there. You haven't had any distractions, and like going back into a gym, I'm like always really aware of. I know I should be focusing on my own thing, but in the gym I was at, it was very like cramped together. So when you've got an idiot on the machine next to you, it's a bit distracted and stuff. So I'm not looking forward to going back with all these idiots.
So that's the thing. I'm in such a. I don't know what to do when the gyms do open, because I love training in the garage so much. I get to play the fucking music I want. I don't have to have headphones in. I don't have to look at anyone. No one's in my fucking way. No one's doing 19 sets on a machine that I'm waiting to use. I get to do what I want to do. And I'm debating even going back. If gym's open, I wouldn't go back straight away anyway.
Yeah.
I say all this, I will go back into gyms 100%, because there is some stuff that like I just
can't do.
Yeah. Where about are you, Christian?
Huh?
Where about you?
Like 10 miles north of Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
But what I am gonna do though is, because I feel harsh on my parents. They don't care, but I just feel bad taking fucking half the garage off them. I'm going to move my stuff into a garage and keep collecting equipment after lockdown, and just build my ideal. This is the fucking brand I want. This is the machine I want. And just literally have my own space. Because I know everyone's like, oh yeah, but atmosphere in a gym, bro. I get more pissed off in the gym than anything.
That's what I was going to say. With me, there's no atmosphere at all. It's just frustrating me, like the gym I'm at, you know, it's the best. It's probably the best gym in Wales, but in the leg room, there's no music. It's silent.
Jesus.
And if you let out a single sound, the reception is right next to you, so they're all like looking in. So it's like you feel like you've got like someone watching you all the time. So
yeah, like AJ, the only place I can think of though that I would go straight back to is Ultra, because I was going there like every week anyway before lockdown. I was going like every Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, I will be straight back.
You cannot beat that place in terms of atmosphere, because you go there. Oh, there's a pro there. Oh, there's another pro there. There's another pro over there. I want to get fucking massive.
Yeah.
Like, all I need to see every day for motivation is Cuba's calves walking around.
See, when I was back home over Christmas, because my family's from Sheffield, I took every opportunity while I was back to go to Ultraflex, because there's just nothing like it. There really isn't. I'm going to probably get shit from people from Ultimate for saying that, but
no, again, don't start again. The last time we promoted another gym on the podcast, we got shit on by everyone at Ultimate.
And
like, oh, fuck off then. Fuck off up north.
Look, it was when Cuba was on, so we were talking to him about the gym, and obviously it's his gym. He has a right to promote his stuff while he's while he's on the show. And we were just like, there's nothing like it. Like, the only gym like it that I've been to with that kind of atmosphere is Powerhouse in New York. That was the only time where I've walked in the gym and there's all these just pros around me, all these people just absolutely killing it. And I've just been like, this is it.
Yeah, so they don't train as hard in Powerhouse in New York.
So, to be fair, who did I see? I saw Arash. He does low volume. And
he trains hard.
He was a monster. I saw him training legs, and I was like 17 at the time. I just couldn't believe it.
Fanboy.
But yeah, no one. I don't think I've seen anyone train as hard anywhere else except Ultimate. Like, what a cool gym, right?
Indeed.
Jack frozen again.
No.
He's still
in a daze.
On the whole Ultimate Ultraflex combo, because obviously I've trained it both for a while too. But
yeah,
the thing is, like, Ultimate's amazing and it's a lovely place, but you can't make comparisons between the two.
No, it's completely different.
So different.
Yeah.
Ultimate Fitness is in the city centre of Birmingham amidst loads of different people, where most people in that city are training in like pure gyms or whatever. You get a very small demographic that go in there, and unfortunately it's never busy enough to, like, during the times in which I to really feel the benefits of the atmosphere there. So I never really got to feel it at probably its best. I heard on the grapevine that it used to be better atmosphere-wise when it was in the old location.
In the old gym as well. It's the times when I really enjoyed it were on a weekend when
I totally agree.
Sai was in,
Saturday morning, isn't it? Yeah.
All the like, pros, whatever, were in, and they were all training legs together upstairs.
Totally agree.
The atmosphere in there was unbelievable when it was on that day. And then the only other time is like around Body Power, when you just have like Flex Wheeler like in there doing PTing in Ultimate.
Yeah, but then you have
plastic asses jiggling around in front of you.
Yeah, when you got all the what is it? What's the brand? Rain Energy Drink. Yeah. You get all their sponsored athletes in there.
Bang! There you go.
Yeah, Bang! Bloody fucking Bang!
I just don't think I've ever had a good session at Ultimate Fitness.
Oh, ouch!
Okay, right. This podcast ends here.
You know what?
AJ.
It's cool. It's just not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
AJ,
we got into
training at the new temple.
Oh yeah, I did train at the new temple. Yeah,
briefly.
I really enjoyed that. I did enjoy that a lot.
It's hot in there.
It is fucking boiling in there.
And loud.
When did you train there, AJ?
Sorry, mate.
When did you train there? Where, like,
the last month of living in Birmingham, I just sort of well, my knees were exploded from the Cybex hack, so I needed something different. So I used the pendulum, the Atlantis pendulum, which is probably one of my favorite pendulums like ever.
Yeah, that one was really good as well because it wasn't bolted to the floor.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I mean, your top set, you're rocking left to right like no one's business. I said to them, I was like, are you planning to like lock this one down? They just sort of didn't really understand what I meant.
That's a hip hazard for Jack. Stay away.
Do it on one leg and be like, woo.
That seems to be the trend anyway. So.
The leg press is really good, AJ.
Yes, so this is what I'm looking forward to the most probably when the gyms reopen, amongst going back to Rotherham, is going up to Durham again and doing a weekly leg session at the Durham Ultraflex, because they've got all of the old kit from Ant's gym.
So that's such a good leg press.
Cybex hack squat, Cybex leg press, Cybex leg extension, leg curl. So me and Cuba have already planned it. We're just going to do a Cybex leg day where we do the whole Cybex fucking range, adductor, leg extension, leg curl, everything. It's just Cybex.
And Cuba's going to stand next to you and go, let's get nasty.
Yeah. He's going to say, come on, one more for Dorian.
Surely, though, AJ, will Cuba not buy? He buys everything else. Would he not try and get Cybex stuff in there, or?
No, he's got other plans for the next one. So
okay,
the next location is going to come pretty
exciting.
Sick.
So
when he was on, I don't know if he's going ahead with this because it was like 4 months ago. He did mention potentially in the future there's going to be one in the Midlands as well. So
yeah. He talks about loads of shit all the time. That's really cool. He's going to probably do a similar thing to you at some point as well, Christian. Like he's going to set up a private sort of facility and just have the pieces he wants in there and occasionally training. Because the thing is, for Cuba, like a lot of the time it's always members or people that know him, and it's a constant distraction sometimes. Like, I think he's quite enjoyed the lockdown, like because he's had like his space and just smashing it.
I bet. To be fair, the first experience I had with Cuba was when I first went to Ultraflex. I was in the little fucking posing room urinal having a piss. And he goes in. He walks in. He doesn't even walk into piss. He just walks in. He goes, training everyone, like that. And that's my first experience with Cuba. I was having a piss and he just walked in and just shouted. And I was just like,
did he grab your balls as well?
I was worried. I thought he was going to.
When we do posing or anything, he'll just fucking grab my ball sack and say, you're definitely natural. I'm like, great.
Nasty balls, yeah, I knew that was coming.
Cheers, Cuba, yeah. Just
I've actually got like, that's the only thing that I've got bigger than him as well, so I think he's actually
Should we go on to some questions before we wrap this up?
Fire away, man. Fire away.
They're going to have to be quick fires, aren't they?
Yeah. It's fucking kind of not stupid question, but it's an easy answer. Volume or intensity?
Intensity.
Yeah, for sure. How do you think bodybuilders are perceived in the wider society, aka to the non-bodybuilder?
Like fucking idiots.
Cretins.
I wouldn't know because I don't fucking bother with them anyway.
You see these people like, why aren't the pubs opening, bro? And I'm just like, you're a fucking sad cunt. But they're going to think the exact same about me.
Yeah. It's the same thing, isn't it? It's just the only thing I really miss the most is being around like-minded, driven people because it's fucking no one.
No, I don't
like Christian doesn't care.
Yeah.
Christian doesn't care.
He's the only
He's got Luna now.
Yeah, the like-minded person is Luna.
Yeah. Killing it.
Right, I got one. Most underwhelming moment so far, whether it was competing or meeting someone you admire.
Underwhelming.
Yeah.
What? So like I've met someone that I'd admired and I just fucking.
Yeah, what a cunt. Yeah.
I don't really think I want to disclose that on a podcast.
Okay.
AJ.
Well, are they gonna watch it?
It's probably when I met Christian. I was like, fucking hell. What an annoying bastard that's helping me with my stuff.
Have you ever met someone?
YouTube.
Yeah. I think the most underwhelming person I met was, I think it was Christian Guzman. to be honest.
Oh God.
I didn't bother meeting him, so that's
Yeah, that was my
I
first.
wouldn't stand in line for that.
I was
To be fair to the
16.
guy, he's killed it. He has actually killed it.
Yeah,
so.
like business sense, unbelievable. Yeah, he's done great.
What about you, Jack?
So, oh yeah, Jack.
It's this isn't meant in like a negative way at all. Not like underwhelmed. But you were all talking about like meeting people at expos, for example. Like this isn't like meeting a celebrity, but working like the Insight booth. Everyone, he's changed a little bit, but in previous years, Tom Moore, so TM Cycles, everyone sees him as like a really cocky, confident, like arrogant person. You see him at an expo and he is incredibly reserved. In the first one that we went to, he didn't know what to say. Like he barely could put a word together. He was like really shy. But then in the second one, he came out a little bit more. But say again?
Nothing.
There's a
And I think
good
George is similar as well. AJ, wouldn't you say? George Osborne. He's pretty similar to that, I'd say.
Yeah, like, go on his YouTube and he's shagging the life out of his bed. And then meet him at the expo and he's quiet as anything.
He's very quiet then, yeah.
My only experience with George was backstage at my first show. But I feel like that's not really a fair representation anyway. Everyone's back.
Absolutely shagged. And you were looking
exactly. I remember seeing him. I was like, "Oh, geez, he looked rough." I look rough, but yeah, no, he looked like he was struggling a bit.
Gutters.
Yeah, it was me, George, and who else was there? Jack
Garrison.
Yeah, backstage, and out of everyone in there, I felt like George was quite reserved.
Yeah. Jack Richardson is alive as anything on show day. He loves it.
I
can't believe
it. When you see Jack Richardson in person, you're like, man, the guy's big.
Yeah, he's a big fucking
he's
dude.
Scary. I remember, I'm like, no offense to anyone else I competed against at that first show I did, but when I saw him backstage, I was like, you've won. There was just like, I saw him backstage and we were all there looking at each other because we took a few pictures in the mirror. I put one of them on my Instagram and we're stood there and everyone else is hitting like a side chest, side tricep. Jack has just stood there like pointing like that to the rest of us and he's beaten us in the shot and he's not even hitting the pose.
His side chest pose from now on is just going to be...
Literally, yeah. It was ridiculous. I knew straight away, but I'm excited to see him in person. I want to train with Jack soon.
I saw him at Strength, like, AJ, it was like probably a month or two after his show.
Yeah.
I'd seen him, though, like 2 weeks before the show, where he looked like he was going to die.
Yeah.
Like, he did not want to talk to anyone in there.
Mm.
Yeah. And then I saw him, like, 4 to 6 weeks after, and I was like, the guy is fucking blown. Like, he looks fucking huge, man.
He ate, man. He ate as much as he wanted.
He ate himself. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, what a crazy
guy. You got any more questions, Jermaine?
Let's have a look.
I've got one. How hungry is Jack?
From the bikini competitor.
Me?
What's that?
Pretty hungry, mate.
So this is from someone who wants to compete in bikini. Do you think there is any reason to have a different training style depending on category?
No.
So bikini to, let's say, bodybuilding. Is there a difference or is it just all?
Depends if she's natty or not.
Natty. Let's say natty.
No, I'm not saying that because you train different if you're natty or not. But if a female isn't natty and she starts putting on a fuck ton of muscle, then she can't do bikini.
Yeah.
But no.
You could talk about this for a long time though. That's quite like a big question.
Yeah. Train as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're gonna be like you don't need to train certain muscle groups as much as others. For some girls, they don't need to, like, for example, I did a podcast with Kira Aston the other day.
Yeah.
And she wants to stay within figure. She doesn't want to go to physique. Yeah. So for her, that looks like that she's almost at the top of that already. So
Yeah.
she's not. She's literally for the next couple of years. She doesn't have to do anything really.
She can just cruise, yeah.
Yeah.
She won't be able to stay in that class.
That's what I said. I said she's not going to be able to.
Because
But
you can't pull 300 kilo off the floor. Not expect to add muscle. Especially because she is a fucking genetic freak anyway.
Yeah.
She's gonna grow no matter what she does.
Yeah.
Because she is not human.
yeah.
She's
when I saw the T60 the other day, I was just sat in my chair and I was just like, I'm just gonna give up. Just gonna quit bodybuilding.
I basically may as well not have a point.
Yeah.
Not a male.
Yeah. It's insane.
Cool, man. She is fucking sick.
Yeah.
We have a question now that goes to everyone on the podcast ever going forward. As you know what it is, Jermaine.
Yeah,
it's the 3-course question. So we'll start with Jack. Obviously, you're very regimented with your food, but I've seen in the past, you go out sometimes, very rarely, but
I am a foodie at heart, but go on.
Okay. You don't have to apply this, but if you could have any 3-course meal right now from anywhere, mix up the restaurants, where would it be and why? So starter, main, dessert.
Smokehouse.
Huh? Do you know what? Yeah, I will. No, it'll be smokehouse, but old smokehouse because you've got one in Birmingham as well, but the chain went to shit a bit. Old smokehouse, barbecue chicken wings.
Oh.
Unreal. The main, I love American barbecue stuff, so it'd have to be some kind of I love a burger. So some like filthy, dirty burger. It's been so long since I've had a dessert, I wouldn't.
Meringue.
Shut up.
Say some shit now.
Meringue.
I don't even know.
That was Jermaine's.
I picked meringue. And I got roasted for it.
I actually choose meringue.
Leave me alone.
It's like the worst thing you could ever choose.
Fine, whatever.
It's like air.
It's air and egg.
Once you've had it's a 3-course, you want a lighter dessert, right? You don't want.
No.
I want to.
There's always room for dessert.
Let me redeem myself.
I want to go to bed feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I did change it, and I changed it to sticky toffee pudding.
Oh,
a bit better.
You know what? I'd probably have a bowl of oats for dessert.
What about you, Christian?
Yeah.
Fuck me, you'll be here all day, mate. I'll be having 3 courses for a starter, 3 courses for I'm a bottomless pit. I don't know, man. Starter. Well, it doesn't have to be a starter type food, does it?
No.
Go for it. Yeah, just whatever.
A massive platter of sushi from Sushi.
Nice. Yeah.
In Birmingham. It's just next level. Okay.
Which sushi place in Birmingham?
Sushi Passion.
Never been there.
Bro, take your fucking wallet. Jeez. It's if you want to be full.
Yeah.
It's a classy place.
You can spend £100 on yourself.
Really?
Yeah.
Passionate sushi.
Yeah, it's so passionate. Then main, I don't know, man. I don't know at the moment. I've ticked off everything I wanted to eat for the past fucking 5 weeks after this diet, so I'm just kind of bored of food already. A really fucking good burger and fries with some mac and cheese or something.
Yeah.
Dessert, literally bring me everything. Ice cream, cookies, cheesecake. I'm done.
Nice.
That's my go-tos all the time.
Yeah.
Ice cream and cookies for a start. Brownies, yeah, man, all of it.
The list goes on.
The list goes on.
There's always room in the dessert belly. That's what I say.
What about you, AJ?
Man, I really don't know.
I know this is probably not the best time.
Everyone,
I'm sorry, but it isn't the best time to be asking him this question. But go on.
No, to be honest,
AJ just doesn't care.
Good for you, man.
I'm not a huge foodie anyway. I'm not.
No, AJ, I know what you'd have for dessert.
Junior's
red velvet cheese.
Oh fuck yeah, that's
a good one.
That is the ultimate
ready to roll.
if you want to feel absolutely awful after eating a dessert, that is the best to eat.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the crash is horrendous because it's like quite low volume, but it's
Just pounding the cows.
calorie dessert, so it hits you and you're like trying to digest it, and your body just immediately sends you to.
You just shut down.
AJ, I had a similar experience quite recently. I couldn't even eat them. Like I would use like half-pound cookies, like you get in like America.
Yeah.
And like I broke one out, and literally I had one bite, and I was like, so full. I was like, what is in this? It was like so dense, and I was just like, how is something so small just killed me?
Yeah.
Clavicle.
Especially when you're post-diet, those things like ruin you. I remember having some pretty thick cookies. Like one of the first things I ever had after 2017 dieting down, and I couldn't stay awake.
Yeah.
I couldn't stay awake. The crash was horrendous.
I was bad as well post-show. I had it. Post-show. I remember AJ telling me not to be a dick. Like, yeah.
And you were a dick.
I was actually pretty all right. I went to Nando's, had like a Nando's like platter for two, admittedly.
Don't forget the super greens.
I do actually quite like the platters from Nando's occasionally.
Yeah, it was pretty good because it was like it wasn't so out there that I was just gonna cramp up and die on the spot. So I had that, and then got home. One of my flatmates had bought me a donut, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's have a donut." Had a donut, passed out for 3 hours after a donut.
Awful.
Yeah, woke up and I was like, "Do you know what? I fancy some like orange juice or something because I haven't had juice." Like a little bottle of orange juice, like a tiny little bottle from the shop. Immediately cramped up and like almost threw up.
From concentrate.
My day done. That was me done after that. The juice killed me.
Yeah. It's weird.
You felt that in the bodybuilding world before.
You're in a very sensitive spot at that stage. Everything you haven't had in months, or in some cases fucking years.
Yeah.
Kills you off, man. When's the last cheat meal you had, Jack? See, I know you do include them in the off season, but obviously since lockdown, you haven't been able to go out.
I think it was a tie I had with my family.
Nice.
Yeah, it was because we were talking about the virus actually, so it would have been that. That place I go to is actually. Are any of you a fan of Thai food?
I like.
Yeah, I love Thai food.
Good, and like to be honest, it's not even like that bad on the whole.
It's not.
Because the
Unless
sauce,
you get certain curries, which is super high in fat.
Yeah, but the curries aren't like Indian curries. They're a lot. The sauce is a lot thinner. Like granted, it's still not amazing, but you can tell it's not as dense in cream and like stuff like that. But yeah.
Ghee.
Yeah.
Ghee.
Post-workout ghee.
The audio listeners are going to be so confused.
Oh, fucking hell.
GHEE. Yeah, there you
go. Right. Shall we wrap it up there, lads?
Yeah, that'll be perfect.
Christian, Luna has been very well behaved.
She has.
Give her a pat on her head.
She's literally sat there, literally just sleeping for the entire.
My dog would not do that.
Yeah, mine's a little shit.
She's your dog locked away in the other room, AJ?
Should we get her on for the last?
My dog's downstairs. He's like with Danny.
It's probably a smart decision.
It is.
Stop waking me up, human. Leave me alone.
Looks like Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Hello.
I love Frenchie. Stop it. That's tall.
Very cute dog.
Oh, the shock.
Wow.
I think she's just started. Jesus.
Right.
Let's wrap this baby up, John.
Let's wrap this up. Thank you guys for coming on. It's been.
Oh, before we go, does anyone want to plug their sponsors?
Yeah.
Like
Plug yourselves, guys.
Christian.
Coached by Christian on Instagram. Carbs and Cars discount code for Strom. Get all your sups. Christian 15 Build and Bake. There's also a clothing one coming very soon.
Oh, stay tuned, guys.
A CBD one coming very
soon.
Oh!
Shouldn't. Jack?
AJ? Yeah, anyone?
So Jack Thorburn Jack _Thorburn on Instagram. Insight Supplements, code Jack10 to save you some dollar. Same with Explosive Ape clothing. Similar to Christian, build and bake with a brownie fiends. So Jack15 there. And for the finest meats in the whole of the UK, the Meat Man.
Excellent.
I was going to give you that little slogan, but I've forgotten it.
Yeah. AJ.
What an athlete, yeah. AJ?
AJ Morris _ on Instagram. Made by Morris Coaching for the members site. Trained by JP Clothing for the best training clothing out there. No discount. And A-List Nutrition AJ18 for money off. So
there you have it, guys. Thank you for listening and watching to Off the Script podcast. We'll be back again next time with another guest. Cheers, guys.